we are in the midst of probably what's going to end up to be a $15 to $20 billion election. According to Open Secrets, so far $16 billion has been spent on this election. In the 7 most tightly contested Senate races, billionaire spending on Republican candidates is outpacing Democratic spending by 7 to 1. This is not how democracy is supposed to work. You know, the demos in the word democracy means the people. Democracies are supposed to fulfill the will of the people. You know, add in the protections for minority groups that a republic provides, and you have what their founders called Republican democracy, or what we refer to as a democratic republic. We used to think that if billionaires participated in politics in a big way, all their taxes, right? Back when we were naive. But then in 2010, 5 corrupt Republicans on the U.S. Supreme Court, Clarence Thomas being the deciding vote after having been well bribed by Harlan Crow and others. Clarence Thomas said, no, you can give unlimited amounts of money for all practical purposes to, you know, billionaires can and corporations can to politicians and political contests because, you know, billionaires, you know, their money is actually speech. And corporations, they don't even have a mouth, and so their money is speech. And so here we are. We have seen in the last 24 years, or 14 years now, since Citizens United, an absolute explosion of massive wealth. I mean, this never in American history have we seen anything like this. The top 10 billionaire contributions, families, by political contributions this year. The Mellon family, Timothy Mellon specifically, $172 million going to Republicans. The Adelson family, $137 million going to Republicans. The Musk family, $133 million going to Republicans. The Uline family, $132 million going to Republicans. The Griffin family, $102 million going to Republicans. The Yaz family, $87 million going to Republicans. The Singer family, $57 million going to Republicans. Not a single billionaire providing over $50 million to Democrats. Not one. The closest we've got is the Bloomberg family putting in $45 million and the Simons family putting in $46 million. And why do we have this? Because of Citizens United. Because 5 corrupt Republicans on the U.S. Supreme Court, now we have 6 corrupt Republicans, but back then it was 5 in 2010, said, we don't mind if the billionaires buy our elections. They bought us, so they can buy you too. Now, there has been some pushback against this. Back in 2020, Alaskans voted to require a really high level of transparency, around political donations in their state. And as a result, a billionaire-backed group has sued repeatedly. They sued at a local level. Then they got a federal district court. Then that got taken to the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, which said, no, this law is just fine, as did the lower court. And now they're trying to get it before the Supreme Court. And similarly in Arizona, Arizonans passed by a 73% margin this new law, Proposition 211, that requires groups buying politicians or elections to disclose their expenditures. The billionaire-funded Goldwater Institute is fighting that one in the courts, arguing that those poor billionaires, if their purchases of politicians or judges or elections are known, will, quote, be subject to violence, harassment, and the risk of cancellation. Oh, those poor dears. And then you've got, people like Elon Musk. I mean, it reminds me of what Louis Brandeis famously said. He said, America, we must make a choice. We can have democracy in this country, or we can have great wealth concentrated in the hands of a few, but we can't have both. And this is now metastasized from the federal level all the way down to local races. I mean, literally local judges, local sheriffs, local, county boards, school boards. Billionaire money is everywhere in America right now. And in this regard, we are truly exceptional. We are the only developed country in the world that allows this. We're also the only developed country in the world that has student debt problems or medical debt problems, and they're all from the same source, right? Right-wing billionaires. Canada has an absolute ban on corporate donations. Corporations may not give to any candidate. And on individuals, you're limited to $1,700 per politician or per party per year. That's it. And there's also a limit on how much money can be spent. And all donors who give over $200 in Canada have to have their name, address, and the amount and the person that they donated to disclosed. Compare that to the $172,003,300 that billionaire Timothy Mellon has given Republicans this year, or Miriam Adelson's $131 million. And that's the money we know of. The majority of the billionaire contributions this year are going to be going through groups like, I believe Donors Trust is one of them. I may be wrong. You double check that. But there are these dark money groups that basically launder money on behalf of billionaires so that by the time that money hits a campaign, their name is no longer associated with it. And also, Republicans have been aggressively recruiting morbidly rich individuals because the Supreme Court, in their Buckley decision back in '76, in the Buckley decision, they said that individual candidates can give unlimited amounts of money to their own campaigns. So Republicans reached out to guys like Rick Scott, who ran ACA, the hospital chain. When he was president of ACA, they were convicted of the largest Medicare fraud in American history. He made hundreds of millions of dollars, from running that organization, and is using his own money now to buy his Senate campaign in Florida. No limits. We really need to overturn Citizens United. I don't know how to put it other than that. Congress can do it. It's just that you have to have a democratically controlled Congress, which means that you and I have to get out there and vote. We have a billionaire problem in America. But we've had billionaire problems before. We did in the 1880s. We put into place the Sherman Act. We did in the 1930s. And FDR called them out. He called them the economic royalists. And he put them back in their place with a 90% income tax bracket. We could do it again.